Okay, let's try it. Candyman, 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 Candyman. Awesome!
The writing on the wall. The sweet smell of blood.
Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage and there's a sentence in the new Candyman that goes a little bit like this. It's great to tell a new story, but you also need to keep certain iconic features that came before. Which is very exemplary for this movie, which isn't a remake of Bernard Rose's original 1992 horror classic, which was based on Clive Barker's short story The Forbidden, but it's actually a sequel that incorporates the story of the first film into its own, retells it in this beautiful artistic paper puppet shadow play, and adapts and explores its themes furthermore for our current times. The new Candyman was directed by Nia Da Costa, produced by Jordan Peele and written by both of them alongside Win Rosenfeld. The basic storyline is very similar to the original. In that film it was Virginia Madsen's Helen, a young grad student who tried to find out more about the mysterious urban legend Candyman. This time it's Yahya Abdul-Mateen II as Anthony, a visual artist who's also drawn to this figure from the past, getting more and more absorbed by it. The setting is once again Chicago, but the Cabrini Green housing project has since been abolished, making way in the process of gentrification, with Anthony and his girlfriend Brianna, played by Teyonah Parris, being part of it. You don't need to have seen the original Candyman to understand and enjoy this one, but I think doing so definitely enriches the experience. Maybe it also harms it a little bit, because I don't think this one can quite reach that film's unique flavor, its eerie, cold atmosphere, and the strange and twisted dark romance that's pounding at its heart. But for a horror sequel, this is really good. It brings a lot of own ideas, finds a cool way of continuing and expanding the lore, and as you expect from a project helmed by Jordan Peele, it also directly mirrors, pun intended, and addresses issues of race, history, and legacy. Initially, the movie's release was scheduled for June of last year, which would have been just 1 month after the murder of George Floyd. Because of the pandemic, it was postponed until now, but unfortunately, its themes haven't aged a single day, nor will they anytime soon. Of course, the same overarching themes were also part of the original, but this movie goes further and creates an updated perspective or criticism. If you want to make the comparison, I didn't like it as much as Get Out or Us. Maybe because those two are obviously more original works and not based on pre-existing material. But then again, retelling certain stories, dealing with the past, not forgetting the horrors and injustices that were committed and are still happening, those are all ideas that are discussed in the new Candyman. And again, they found some clever ways of continuing the story, and one reveal in particular felt really strong and I didn't see it coming. I think overall, I respect the movie and its ideas much more than I enjoyed it. I mean, I definitely enjoyed it, but when it comes to horror, it's as subjective as when it comes to comedy, I guess. And unfortunately, this one lacked that certain extra punch when it comes to the horror elements. It's not that it doesn't have its fair share of brutal and gruesome moments, some also quite graphical, but it sometimes felt as if it was just going through the killings to get to the next plot point. It doesn't have that certain excitement, edge of your seat tension, and also fun element that usually comes with a genre film. The presentation, the style of the film is pretty strong, or let's say the movie has its own visual personality, which is very fitting because our protagonists are at home in this high-class art world. The score by Robert Ike Aubrey Lowe is doing a fine job as well, though I don't think it reaches the level of Philip Glass's original music. Still, while the camera work, music and production design were really top notch, there was something missing for me in the presentation of the horror. And I think this might also be tied to the film's slightly different approach to the figure of Candyman. He has been a tragic figure in the original as well, and the racism behind his origin story is obvious. But in that movie he was also super menacing and scary. Also due to the incredible presence of Tony Todd and his haunting voice acting, as we so often listen to his amped up voice from the off. Now don't get me wrong, Candyman is still a force to be reckoned with in this new one, but the movie doesn't quite reach the same tension or atmosphere. I guess by shifting the horror element more towards our real world, more towards police brutality and society's inherent racism, the character of Candyman might be losing some of its boogeyman potential. He was a villain to root for in the original as well, not just because of his origin story, but because it also very much just comes with the slasher genre territory. But here he's even more caught between two stools, which again is certainly interesting and kind of a logical continuation, but it's also a bit muddled and just didn't work as well as I was hoping. And again, it's also something that's addressed in the movie itself in this meta way. For example, when Anthony's girlfriend Brianna is talking about his new work, how it is very direct with less space for ambiguity and symbolism, but also something that needs to be said and needs to be heard. Something that can be applied to the movie's approach as well, I guess. It also doesn't want to replicate that whole romance angle of the first movie, which is good, I think. They are doing something different and it mostly works. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II is great in the lead role, but I just didn't feel the same level of horror and anxiety. Maybe they should have also intensified the relationship between Anthony and Brienne some more, because I felt her role was a little bit neglected, which was hurting the finale for me, where she does play a bigger part again. The finale as a whole could have been more organic anyway, it felt rather rushed to me. They are also incorporating this slightly body horror aspect, but apart from the final imagery, the progression of it feels rather familiar, to be honest. So in the end, Candyman is still a good movie, maybe even a very good movie, but unfortunately it left me a bit too cold and not on the edge of my seat at all to really love it. So in German I'd say, Candyman hat eine Menge spannender Ideen und führt den Klassiker ziemlich clever fort, aber als intensiver, mitreißender Slasher-Film hat er für mich nur bedingt funktioniert. I give Candyman 7 out of 10. It's more like 7.1, but I don't do that.
Don't say that.
Alright, that's it like always. Comment below and let me know what you think about Candyman. And also, have you seen the original one? You can hit me up on Twitter, Instagram and Letterboxd, and also on Patreon, simply at TheJimmyCage. And if you enjoyed this episode, please give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like. And make sure you hit that bell for all I have to tell.